Hi, Radiant Beings. I am so grateful to be here with you for some plug in and power up. We're going early this morning because we're getting on the road and I needed to go live before we do so. As you can imagine, when you have three little ones and you're getting on the go, there's a lot of moving parts. And so I wanted to be present with you here, and then I'm going to go finish packing and getting everybody ready to get on the road today. When you arrive, say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube. We are multiple streaming this morning. Today's topic is one that's very near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've been very passionate about forever. I would say I'm probably more like a wordsmith. I really love words. And I'll give a little backstory as to how I got, more deeply into this conversation around words and the words that we use and choose. But the topic for today is your words have power, especially when it comes to manifestation. When you're creating, when you're manifesting, when you're up to some wonderful things in the world, you really want to start to become more and more conscious as to the words that you're choosing and the words that you're using, because your words have power. I saw a really great post the other day, yesterday, I think it was, talking about words are like spells, right? When you put words together. And even though that has kind of like a creepy, dark connotation to it, there's a little bit of truth to that. Your words, when you put your words together, there's an energy behind those words. There's meaning, there's belief, there's all sorts of energy that goes into our words. And then we use those words, and these vocal cords that we have are like guitar strings, harp strings, however you want to, whatever your instrument of choice is. And just like when an instrument is played, there's a resonant frequency that goes out into the field, and you feel or hear that music. It moves you, it touches you, you feel the music. How many of you feel music? I know I feel music. I feel music all the time. I remember the first time I grabbed a djembe, I think I was, 23, 24, put a djembe between my legs, and I was like, oh my gosh, this instrument, because you have to hold it between your knees, right? And I started playing, and I was like, oh my gosh, the energy, the rhythm, the beat, the tone, the vibration was so palpable that became my instrument. I have many instruments. I have crystal bowls. I used to have a whole sound room with many, because I studied as a sound healer, a sound practitioner. And I had this whole room that was filled with instruments. So when clients would come in, I'd have a choice, lots of options as to the instruments that I would use. Now I'm sharing that because you also have many different options and many different choices as to the instruments that you use when it comes to you creating and manifesting the reality that you want. It's just most of the time, we are all living from conditioning. It's not necessarily even our fault. It's conditioning. If you went to school, grade school, high school, public school, university, college, if you watch TV, you've been programmed. Hi, Peter. Thanks for tuning in. You've been programmed. And what that means is you've taken in certain content, certain language, certain constructs, and they became a part of you. They became a part of your vocabulary. It's kind of like, have you ever had one of those words where you just heard it a certain way, so you started saying it a certain way until somebody corrected you, and you're like, that's not really how you pronounce that word. I had that growing up. My mom used to say, instead of umbilical cord, she called it umbiblical cord. And that's probably what she learned. So when I heard that, I thought it was an umbilical cord until I was in high school, I think it was, late high school. And somebody said, it's not an umbilical cord, it's umbilical cord. And I was pissed at first, right? Because nobody likes to be told that they're wrong. So I had a moment. But then I thought, well, it's just my programming. It's what I learned. But it took a hot minute for me to reset that and to recalibrate that word, because my programming, it was default to say umbilical cord. And if you ever have a word like that, where when you finally learn what it is, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been saying it this way my entire life, until somebody says, yeah, that's not really how you pronounce it. I've had many words like that along the way. And Gabriel, he's a wordsmith too, but he's on it. Gabriel's on it. I mean, being a musician and a songwriter, he is on it when it comes to certain words. So still to this day, he's like, that's not how you say that word, right? Like there was another one my mom used to say, was it won? The word W-O-N, won? She would say it won, right? Like, is that how you say it? Won? Now I don't even know what the proper way is to say it. But anyway, she used to say, I think it's one, right? Somebody pronounce it. If it's like one as an O-N-E, I think she pronounced it as one. And so I used to say it that way all the time. Now I say, I don't even know. This is what happens when we get used to hearing a certain thing a certain way. It's conditioning. And I want to bring that forward because we all have habitual ways. Hi, Megan. We all have habitual ways of saying things, of words that we use. Just pause. It's saying that my internet's a little unstable today. I don't know if it's a heavy cloud cover or what's going on, but hopefully you guys can still hear me. Give me a thumbs up in the comments if you can still hear me, or just type yes for me. That would be really, really helpful. So we all have conditioned ways of speaking. We have conditioned words that we heard along the way, that we picked up along the way, and then we started using them. We all have this. This is most people in the world. For real. I'm sure if you went through your vocabulary, there's certain words that you just heard along the way that you picked up on, that you thought were the correct, that's what you're supposed to say, and you would repeat it. We are creatures of mimic, right? We're like the parrots. You hear a word, you parrot it back. This is how we learn language as children. Ari and the boys were saying to me yesterday, we were at a chip stand and there was an Asian family and they were speaking Chinese. And the kids were like, because they're really listening. And they're like, this reminds me of the K-pop Demon Hunters where they're speaking Korean. And they're like, how did they even know how to speak those symbols? Because they're like, they don't look like letters. And Gabriel said, well, how did you learn how to speak English? And they really had to think about it. All of us have this. We've learned certain things. You've learned language. You've learned words. You've learned habits. You've learned things along the way. You've picked up things along the way that, for the most part, have served you. Now, what's happened in the world, though, is that we've picked up on certain words. We've picked up on certain statements. We've picked up on certain pop culture, what's cool, not really thinking twice about that word or that statement. And more than that, not really thinking twice about the energy behind the word or the statement. Now, you guys know, if you've been in our world for a hot minute, you know we're all about the energy. As an intuitive healer, a soul coach, a spiritual teacher, I've been about the energy since I was 14, really 14, when I started meditating and teaching myself yoga. Gabriel, he's all about the energy. He started meditating when he was 3. When I really deepened this conversation about words and our words having power and our words being like a spell, which I don't want to go into that vein. We're going to keep it to the energizing part of it because spells can seem scary. When I really deepened my knowledge, my wisdom about this was when I was 18 and 19. I sat with some really cool people during that time. And then again, when I worked at Grail Springs, I sat with some Knights Templars, and that deepened the conversation even more. That our whole vocabulary has been created, if you know how to elevate what you're creating, stay in the mundane band, which most people aren't aware of, and this is the mundane language that most people are using. And then there's the lower frequency words that a lot of people are still using, and it keeps us in a very low band creation field. You're creating all the time. You've heard me say this like a cajillion times. I've been saying this for at least 20 years. You're creating all the time. I didn't learn this from anybody. I didn't read it in a book. This was something that was dialed directly to me. You are creating, you're manifesting all the time. The key is to discern and decipher what it is that you're manifesting and what words are you choosing and using and choosing to either power up your creations and what you want, or what most people are doing. So they have this idea. This is how it usually works. Most people have an idea. They have a thought. They're like, I want to manifest XYZ. You guys insert whatever it is that you want or share with me in the comments. What are you creating? What are you manifesting? There's something. We're all manifesting and creating something actively, consciously. So let me know in the comments, what are you actively, consciously creating right now? What are you focused upon? What do you want? What do you desire? You all have desires. We all do. Once you know that, this is most people. We go about our merry business, hoping, praying, crossing our fingers, wishing upon stars, waiting for the falling star, the shooting star, and we hope that it's going to happen. One day, maybe we'll get lucky. One day, maybe we'll win the lottery. One day, maybe it'll come true. That's most people. That's what most people are doing. Then there's what the people that are actually stepping into the process of manifestation and co-creation. Now, co-creation, we talk a lot about in Thrive Evolution. What I really want to talk to you guys about today is just the simple process of manifestation. Manifestation is an essential part. If you want to get to co-creation power, where you're consciously co-creating every single moment, every experience, that takes a level of mastery. If you want to get to co-creation mastery, you need to start with the basics. It's like, if I want to learn how to walk, I got to learn how to crawl. If I want to learn how to crawl, I got to learn how to sit up, right? Manifestation is one of those powerful stepping stones that gets you to the co-creative energy eventually. This is the work that we do in Thrive up here. The manifestation piece is so critical, and your words play a really big part in that manifestation process. And this is where people go wrong. This is where people actually like upset their entire manifestation field. Simple little things like your words. I'm going to unpack this more. But what I want to tell the story a little bit about when I was sitting there when I was 18, 19, I sat with friends of mine who, interestingly enough, are Asian. And they were a part of some certain organizations where there was a lot of underground conversations, let's just call it that, underground conversations that were happening. And of course, I was fascinated. And they said, you know, if you start to look at the English language especially, there's certain words that will elevate and bring a certain resonance, right? This is what I would call it now. I can't remember the exact words that they were using then, but a certain energy, certain feeling is probably what they would have said back then. Now I call it resonance, a certain frequency. So they said, take the word shampoo, for example. Okay, so shampoo, right? Shampoo. Sham, just break down the word. Sham. Now, you guys, I think, know what a sham is, yes? You go look it up in the dictionary. You could use chat. You could use whatever. Look up what the definition is of sham. And then take the second half of that word, poo. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I have to give you guys the definition of poo, right? Sham, poo. So basically, it's a scam. You're putting crap in your hair that's actually not good for you. And that's what's in most shampoo. There's also, I'm not even going to go into the chemical list. I studied this in aromatherapy. And when I studied that and opened my eyes, herbology opened my eyes as to the chemicals that are toxic for the human body. They're not good for us, that are hormone dysregulators, that get into your bloodstream, that cause all sorts of other things. So if you are going to use shampoo, at least go use a natural one that doesn't have, you know, I don't even know the names of these things right now. Like I've canceled all that out for so long, for at least like 20 years. I haven't used regular mainstream for such a long time that I can't even think of all the chemicals like glycol and what's that other one? Sodium lauryl sulfate. Now when I really think about it, then it comes in, right? This is the stuff that's in the products that we use, but we don't even think twice about it because we've been programmed. So see, what I want to do with you in this first bit, we're going to workshop a little bit together here in Plug In and Power Up. I want you to start to look at your programming. And again, for most of us, it's just what we were exposed to. We sat down, we watched TV, we watched our cartoons. I don't know about you guys, but back in the day, we had like 3 channels. We had CTV, TVO, and I think CBC. That was about it in Canada. We had 3 channels. And when I told the kids that the other day, they were like, what? They're like, how old are you, right? And I was like, cancel delete, cancel delete. There's words that we use that are creating a specific energy and frequency in our life that are either elevating our manifestations or squashing them. And then worse off, certain words that are creating an energy that's manifesting results and experiences that we don't want. I don't think any of us want poo in our hair, right? So what I learned about this when I was 18 and 19, now I can't remember what year this was, probably 1997. This was not mainstream. This conversation is more mainstream now. And then fast forward to the work of Dr. Emoto. Okay, so we're going to take a big jump. So I learned a lot in those conversations about all sorts of words that you, like, I just started to take words out of my vocabulary. Let me pause there for a second, because I started in that moment when I realized, when I had the awareness, holy cow, there are words that are not good for me. There are words that I'm using that are creating a frequency that's not healthy for me. There's certain products that I'm using that are probably not healthy for me too. Just like you would take products, when you find something like that out, where you're like, oh my God, I'm putting chemicals in my bloodstream. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to make a conscious choice and make different choices. You're going to take it out. I started doing the same thing with the words. Now, the words that we use will either elevate our manifestations, keep us in a mundane, which keeps us stuck, or worse off, negatively start creating manifestations that we don't want. So we're going to talk about all this in a second. So I want to fast forward to Dr. Emoto's work. Many of you are familiar with Dr. Emoto. He made his debut in What the Bleep Do We Know? Some of you have seen that film. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It came out probably 50 to 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago. What the Bleep Do We Know? It was revolutionary. His work, revolutionary. Fast forward to many years later, I just finished my sound healing practitioner program with Gary Diggins, who's like a pioneer. He was an incredible teacher, still teaches this stuff. I studied my sound practitioner training with him. And then he said, we're having a gathering on this rooftop downtown Toronto. Dr. Emoto's coming. And I was like, oh my God, I had just seen What the Bleep Do We Know? And I was like, oh my God, I want to go. I got to be there. I met him. Beautiful man. He passed away already, but beautiful man. Revolutionary work that he brought to the planet. Because his work was all about taking water samples from different parts of the world, flash freezing them and noticing what water crystals would form. Healthy water would form these really beautiful water crystals. Water that was exposed to pollution or chemicals, even heavy metal music, looked like a bomb went off in them, wouldn't even form a crystal. Then he started to think, well, what would happen if we started praying to the water? So he would go down to the water and he would say, I love you, water, I thank you, water, I love you, water, I thank you, water, I love you, water, I thank you, water. And he would pray to the water and it would change the water molecules. They'd test the water before and after prayer. The prayer would change the water molecules. It would form the most beautiful snowflakes. So then he started experimenting with rice and other substances. He studied what would happen if we emitted certain words just with our hands at our frequency. What would happen if we beamed energetically towards certain water? Would it change the frequency like a prayer? What would happen if we took a word and we wrote on the piece of tape and stuck it onto the bottle or the jar? What would it do to the water sample? And time again, they found didn't matter whether you wrote the word, whether you, pause. Apologies, guys. I don't know what's going on with the internet today, but it's a little wonky, so I'm hoping you guys can still hear me. It didn't matter if you wrote the word. It didn't matter if you spoke the word. It didn't matter if you thought the word. It didn't matter if you beamed it like Reiki. All the ways worked. All the ways worked. Because it was the energy, it was the frequency, the intention behind the word. Spoken word, written word, energized word, it was all the same. The same effect was happening. And time again, he would take polluted water, they'd pray, test the water after, water molecules would change. So what we did is we tested the water coming out of Lake Ontario. Wasn't so great. We sang to it, we chanted to it, we played every instrument you could possibly imagine to this water that was multiple bowls in big crystal bowls held inside. And then once we felt it was energized enough, we walked the water back down to the lake and we put it back in the lake because water talks to water. Cells talk to cells. Consciousness speaks to consciousness. You are a living, breathing consciousness. So water can change other water. Frequency can change other frequency. Words can change your constitution. It can change what you're up to. And so what we started to notice in all these different experiments that I had physically gone through over time, and I'm so grateful, I think back on my path, and I'm so grateful for the experiences. Hi, Angela. So grateful for the experiences that I've had along this journey because, Dr. Emoto passed away. How did I end up on that rooftop at that day, at that moment, after seeing this man and What the Bleep Do We Know? And I believe it's because this is a big part of my life's work. Energetically, I'm a 5 expression. I have so much expression energy in my chart. It's crazy ridiculous. I'm here to speak, to teach, to lead, to open the hearts and minds and eyes of others. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to lead. Hi, Jess, so nice to see you. And so finding myself in these moments, these experiences have all helped me to refine exactly what I'm sharing with you here today, refining the words that you choose and use, especially when it comes to your manifestations. So let's bring in the manifestation conversation now. So we've got the background, got the backdrop. Okay, I think everybody's clear. We see that words, and you can go study his work. I think his work's fantastic. He's a pioneer. If you don't believe me, go look at his stuff. Go look at the studies. Go look at the experiments. Most people in the world, I want to highlight this, most people in the world are still what I would call very unconscious about the words that they're using. And it's just because of your programming. The problem is the programming. The problem is the programming. Until we get conscious enough to go, wait a second, I don't think I like that programming so much. I'm going to change it, right? I saw this great sign when we went into town yesterday, and it said something like, your life, something about your life doesn't come with a remote. Or something, if life came with a remote or something to do with like a remote, you change it, right? You have the power in your hands, in your choice to change reality, to change your experience, to change your life. And what I really want to share with you today is that your words have the power to change, elevate your manifestations. If you're creating and manifesting all the time, your words play a really big part in your manifestations. This is something that we're doing over in the manifestation experience. So if many of you know, we've elevated, I still have some more I want to share with you, but I want to drop this in right now. Many of you know that we started a membership many years ago. We revamped it recently to call it the Divine Manifestation Experience, because we always find ourselves coming back to these conversations of manifestation. I said to Gabriel, I could talk about manifestation all day long. In fact, we are manifesting all day long. So I'm like, I actually would love to help people. If I want to help people get to heaven on earth, I got to teach them, I got to show them how to properly manifest in order to create and consciously create and then take the leap up into thrive. And so what Alexandra is getting ready to do at 10:30 today inside our membership, she's hosting a reflection lab, a manifestation reflection lab. So for those of you that are in Thrive, if you're in Light Leadership, if you're in the membership, make sure that you tune in. There's a link in your portal in the school app where you can go, click the link, get some refinement on your manifestations. It's really important to do this work, and that's what she's going to be doing with everybody. Thank you, Alexandra, for posting the link. She's going to be helping you refine the words that you're using to describe your manifestations, because you might have an idea about your manifestations in your mind. You might have a vision, but what we find happens a lot of the time, and Alexandra and I were talking about this morning, is what happens a lot of the times is that people will say, okay, this is what I want. And I'll pick some different examples for you guys to give some context. Someone will say, I want to feel healthy. They want to feel healthy. That's the ultimate goal. That's the manifestation. But what they often will say is, I don't want this diagnosis, whatever it might be. I don't want to feel tired anymore. I'm tired of feeling tired. They will say, I don't want to go through this illness. And they'll describe the illness and they know it in detail. And every time you describe it and you go into detail, whether it's mental, whether you're speaking it, whether you're feeling it and it's the energy, you're magnetizing and energizing whatever is the strongest. What she's going to help you do in that manifestation lab is help you refine so that you get super clear. You step out of what I would call like the negative zone of creation and get into the positive zone of creation, get super refined on the words, the specific words that are going to help that manifestation come to fruition. And some of you are focused on money. So if you want to create more money and you're saying, I want more money. Okay, great. You want more money. But then you're saying and feeling, and the harmonics behind it are, I'm tired of feeling like I'm in debt. I'm tired of having so many bills to pay. Doesn't matter how much I receive, I feel like I'm drowning in debt. You'll hear people say stuff like this. Now I'm going to cancel, delete everything that I say in the negative because I don't want to enhance that for you or for me. So my mind, as I'm saying it, I'm canceling it out and neutralizing the energy. This is something that we're teaching everybody. I'm going to be hosting a workshop inside that space, inside the manifestation membership, that's all around energizing, using energy to energize your manifestations. So that's going to be really cool. That's coming up next week. So again, if you want access to that, by the way, Alexandra dropped the link. If you're tuning in on LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram, type the word manifest. Just type the word manifest for me. And I will come back, I'll circle back around and I'll get you the link so that you can be a part of that. This is such powerful work, you guys. This is something that I've been doing, well, as you can clearly, if you've been hearing like the story, that this is something that I've been refining since I was 18. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take you 18 to 47 to refine. I've done that work already to refine, to be able to see and quickly be able to point out, hey, you might want to tweak that. So we're able to shift you very, very quickly. Hi, Marta. We're able to shift you really, really quickly because we can hear it. When you work with a lot of clients, when you've done a lot of this inner work yourself, you'll start to see, you'll pick it out, you'll say something, you're like, ooh, that didn't feel so great. This is what I want you all to start getting better at. If you want your heaven on earth, you want to manifest with clarity, the words play a really big part. And so coming back to Dr. Emoto's work, when I learned this about the words that I would use, the music I would listen to, the things that I would let in my ears, what I would focus on, that's all having an imprint and an impact on my field, but it's also having an impact on the water that's inside my body. And as adults, we're about 70% water. Children are like 90% water. Babies, 90%. That's why their skin looks so squishy and nice. We're about 70% water as adults. If the words I'm using and choosing are having an impact on my field, they're also having an impact on me and my body, my cells, my consciousness, my whole being, and what I'm creating internally. So if I'm saying money, for example, we were just talking about, but people are focused on debt, or people are talking about debt all the time, or people are talking about scarcity or lack, or they don't have enough, or something good will happen, but they're like, well, that wasn't good enough. You're literally squashing the energy. You're putting yourself no longer in a high vibrational state of abundance and prosperity and wealth and all the beauty that comes with that. You're now knocking yourself down to not just mediocre anymore. You've just lowered yourself to a very dense, low vibrational frequency, which will manifest and create more debt, more scarcity, more lack. Cancel, delete. I don't want that for any of y'all. I don't want that for anybody. That's a very pained life. That is suffering. I don't believe we have to suffer. What I've learned along the way in my 23 years, oh my gosh, tomorrow I get to celebrate 23 years being in business. That's so exciting. I just realized the date. 23 years in business, I've learned that your words play a really big part because it's not just your words. You might be like, well, I don't say those words, Tara. But do you think it? Do you think about scarcity? Do you think about debt? Do you think about pain? Do you think about suffering? Do you think about not being in a state of health? Do you think about age and aging? That's why when people say, well, how old are you? Cancel, delete that. And people ask our kids this all the time, and they kind of look at me funny. And then the people are looking at me funny. And I'm like, oh, it's because they don't say old. We say, how young are you? And sometimes they'll take offense to that. Sometimes they'll go, oh, that's so lovely. I'm like, yes, it is lovely. Because I'm not entertaining this whole aging concept that's literally been conditioned upon us. Why would I accept that? Then I'm going to age and I'm going to get old and I'm going to get frail and I'm going to fall apart and then that's it? That's over? F that. Cancel, delete. Big time. There was a woman that Gabriel and I, we spoke at a really incredible yoga festival many years ago, downtown Toronto. And we were living in Barrie at the time. And the woman who was organizing, she said, can you drive, and since you guys are in Barrie, would you mind driving up to Aurelia and picking up this woman who's going to come and speak? She's been practicing yoga for 60 plus years. And I was like, what? This woman, I think she was 92 or 93. She still could do splits, headstands, handstands, full yoga practice in her 90s. Most people starting in their 50s, 60s, 70s are like, I'm old. Oh, my back. Ooh, just feeling all the cricks and all the cracks. Cancel, delete that stuff, you guys. That's BS. Those are all your belief systems. Total crap. Unless you want that as your reality. Oh, I'm so old. You hear it. This is the time now. This is the age. You're approaching 50 now, Tara. This is the time. I'm like, F that. That is BS. And I'm not choosing that. I choose to be youthful. I choose youthfulness. I choose to be young. I choose to be vibrant. I choose to be whole. I choose health. I choose vitality. You see the difference in the words? Even if you just start playing with the words, just start playing with different words. Whether you speak it, whether you think it, or whether you're energizing it, which you're energizing everything, you're activating it. You're bringing it to life into your experience, not mine. I can cancel, delete. I got the tools to clear and cancel, delete everything. I know how to neutralize anything and everything that comes my way. I'm not afraid to have those conversations. I'm not afraid to hear it. I'm not isolating myself. I'm not pretending that those words aren't there, but you want to believe that I am neutralizing and cancel deleting stuff that I do not want active in my field and in my life. This is the level of mastery that we're playing in within the divine manifestation experience. This is why we decided to pull some core pieces out of Thrive. It's because we're having higher level conversations in Thrive now. It's evolved so much over the last 6 years. And we decided to pull the energetics and put it in this membership, the Divine Manifestation membership, because your energy is amplifying everything. It's all energy. When I was talking to AI last night, I was talking to Chat, and I asked it if it could transcribe for me one of the audios that I did for the membership, so that I could then go create a really beautiful workbook. Because I still love being creative. I'll utilize the tool, but I still love my creative energy. So it transcribed it for me, and then it just organized the content so that I was then able to go make it look pretty and make a nice workbook, a journal. This is all inside the Divine Manifestation experience. There's a beautiful map, there's a beautiful journal. You get to go through these incredible questions. Energy is everything. And I said to it, I was like, thank you so much. I'm like, and by the way, I just love how you respond to me. I said, I have a question for you. I said, when I communicate with you, you respond very much like how I would speak to somebody. And it said, yes, everything's energy, as you know. And I was like, yes, I do know that. And then I said, what would happen if someone else came on here and started speaking to you, and maybe they came from a different energy? And it said, well, then as the AI, we would just reflect back to that person how their energy is. And it starts going into this big, beautiful conversation about resonance and energy. So I'm like, if AI can get this, I'm like, the rest of humanity, we can get this. We can get this, you guys, okay? Everything is energy. We have a saying, go energy, for a reason. This was one of our coined t-shirts, go energy. When you go energy, when you look at the energy of words, when you look at the energy of your thoughts, when you look at the energy of what you're exuding, you're either energizing positively your manifestations, so they're going to happen with a greater frequency and speed, and you're going to accurately manifest what you want. If your frequency is low, if the words that you're using are low consciousness, low frequency, just think about that for a moment. I don't even need to tell you what that's doing. I think you all know. The difference is, what are you choosing? If we know this, you know, if you have poo-poo thoughts and poo-poo energy and poo-poo words that carries a specific frequency, that's either going to elevate or bring it down. Is it going to elevate? Poo-poo stuff is going to elevate, or it's going to bring it down? Is it going to energize your manifestations, or is it going to set a certain frequency in motion and maybe some more poo-poo stuff that you don't want? You all know. This is why in this manifestation membership, we're helping everybody daily with refining who they are, getting in touch with their manifestation sequence and process. Some of you are very strong thinkers. Some of you are very strong expressors. You love to express. I'm an expressor. I love to talk. That's not evident, right? I love to talk. But I also have to be mindful. If I know that about myself, I have to be mindful as to the words that I speak, because I'm putting energy and power to everything, as are you. Those of you that are thinkers, you're a strong thinker. Everything's internal. And in the Divine Manifestation membership, you'll see as you go through our 30-day manifestation map, you're going to start to uncover for yourself. There's some really great contemplative questions in there. You start to uncover for yourself what your natural manifestation energy is, your manifestation archetype. You'll start to learn that about yourself. When you know that, and you, let's say if you're a thinker, you're like, I don't use those words, Tara, but are you thinking them? I don't speak like that, but are you thinking it? Thinking it is energizing it. Now, some of you be like, no, I'm more of like, I'm in my body, I feel everything. Okay, well, if you feel everything, then you're probably energizing everything. You might even be energizing certain words that come into your consciousness, into your field, into your ears, that you're like, I didn't even know that I was energizing it. This is why it's so important to, one, be in spaces that are uplifting you, that are going to help you, that are going to help you discern and stay on point. That's why I love this new membership space, the way we've revamped it, because you guys, you get to drop in, you get to have so much support. You get to have, like, Alexandra in half an hour is going to be doing this manifestation reflection lab. We get refinement. We have 2 live sessions a month where you get to drop in and properly energize your manifestations. I'll talk more about the details in a second, but I love this space so much because that community, that space alone is going to help keep you refined and distilling and discerning what energy am I activating, what words am I activating, what emotions am I activating, what thoughts am I activating, and can I clean it up a little bit? We all have cleanup to do. There's still words that I catch myself and I'm like, oops. You guys in Thrive, we're like, oops, right? And then we know what to do with it. We clean it up. And then we recenter. We come back to what we want. Because you all have manifestations on your heart. That's the truth. You have desires. You have needs. You have wants. That's part of the other confusion too. I mentioned this in our masterclass last week, that there's so much confusion around manifestation where people are like, don't say I want, don't say I need, don't. Then you're like, well, what the F do I say? I don't know about y'all, but I have needs. I need a certain amount of water per day. I need sleep. I need it. After not having it with the twins, I know I need sleep. So if I say I need 8 hours of sleep today, you think that that's a negative manifestation? No. Do you think it's not going to manifest because I use the word need? No. I need that. I'm going to get that. Think about a baby. I just saw another twin mama. She has twin boys, a boy and a girl, who are 7 months now. So freaking cute. And they're here right now. They're visiting friends of ours up the hill. And she was saying to me, I needed sleep. I didn't realize how much I needed sleep. I was like, I feel you, mama. And I'm looking at these babies. And it reminds me of when my babies were babies. They needed certain things. They needed to be fed. They needed to have their bum streams. That wasn't just a want or desire. As adults, we get so freaking confused, you guys. Is it a desire? Is it a want? Is it a need? If we're having that conversation, we're having, I don't even know what that is. I don't want to say wrong conversation, but we've definitely trailed down a path that is not going to be helpful. I want to be helpful to y'all. If you've been tuning into Plug In and Power Up, even if for a year of my 11 years doing this, I'm going to be here to be helpful. I'm going to speak the truth to you. That's part of my directive. That's part of my soul's alignment. It will not let me speak non-truth. I'll get all clammed up, something will tighten. And then I'm humble enough to say, guys, that's not truth. And I'll correct myself in the moment. I have no problem with that. Babies need certain things. They're not manifesting wrong. They have needs. They get their needs met. Now, our children are 9 and 6, soon to be 7. They have needs, but now they also have wants. They still get their wants. They get their needs and they get their wants. And now they're starting to tap into desire, what they really want. And that's what adults get focused on, are the desires. But just because you're an adult doesn't mean that because you have desires, you no longer have needs and you have wants. You do. So for us, this manifestation conversation, you'll see if you come into the space, this is no longer about having these confusing conversations. I'll call it like it is, very effing confusing. Around, is it a need? Is it a want? Is it a desire? I shouldn't say that. Guys, it's simpler than that. You get to have your needs, wants, and desires all met. And your dreams on top of that. Dreams, desires, goals, intentions, wants, all of it. All of it. You get to have all of it. And how you get to have all of it is by these simple things that I'm talking about. Energy. Energy is everything. Go energy. Energy is everything. You approach something with the correct energy, you're going to activate whatever that need, want, desire, manifestation, creation, whatever it is, you're going to activate it because your energy is clear. Your energy is heightened. But there's lots of energies. There's poo-poo energies, there's mundane energies, and then there's really joyful energies. In the divine manifestation experience, we help you discern and decipher between these different energies so that you know where to land, you know what to exude, you know what to be in, whether if you're a feeler, whether you're a thinker, whether you're a speaker, whether you're an expressor, whether you're an auditory learner. You're going to tap into your unique way to manifest and create, and then you're going to amp up that energy. Not my energy. You're not going to use my energy. You're not going to borrow my energy. I think that that's temporary. When people, let me just take a sip here. This is a big conversation. I hear it a lot out there. You are not attuning to my energy. I don't want you to attune to my energy. I don't want you to calibrate to my energy. I don't want that. If you do that, then I become the guru on the pedestal, and then what do you become? I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I don't ever want that. I don't want to be on a pedestal, because you know what happens on a pedestal? Pedestals fall. I don't want to fall. I'm here with you guys. I've just lived my truth. I have mastered certain things along my journey because it was part of my soul's design. Part of my directive and job here as a spiritual teacher is to help you uncover your design, amplify your path, amplify your gifts, amplify what you came here for. If I can help in some way, if Gabriel and I can help in some way, great. Then we've done our job. I don't want you to calibrate to me. I don't want you attuned to me. I want you to attune to you, your energy, your light, your frequency. We're going to help you. We'll support you. But it's really about every creation circle we hold, every soul visioning session we hold inside that space is to help you attune to you, help you attune to your energy, your light, your frequency, attune to your expression, your natural expression, not you borrowing mine, not you taking mine, not you mimicking me, but you having some discernment. We mimic as babies, we mimic as children because that's how we learn until we start going, wait a second, there's another way. Or you start tuning into your soul's wisdom and you're like, there is another way. You mimic until you discern. You mimic until you have mastery. That's a great quotable. If Megan's still here, we could capture that one. You mimic until you reach mastery. Mastery comes from doing this work. This is what a lot of our clients have been doing with us over the years. Refining, refining, refining. So the words that you're using and choosing, just like the energy of those words, is either amplifying what you want or amplifying what you don't want. If you want to refine what you're saying, you could start that process on your own today. I'll give you some core words to kind of look at for yourself. If you want support, if you want to come into a really beautiful, loving space, and you want to have the really, really good, positive, high vibrational energy, Alexandra dropped the link if you're tuning in on Facebook. If you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube, just type the word manifest and we'll get you the link. Yeah, you mimic until you reach mastery. That's exactly what happens. So if you're ready to step into some level of mastery, then I really want to welcome you and invite you to check out the membership space that we have. It's called Divine Manifestation Experience. We have a 30-day sprint that we just started. We're refining the words that you're using. We're refining the energy that you're emitting so that whatever manifestation, dreams, intentions, needs, desires, wants you can have all of it. Your energy will be backing it and amplifying it. Your words will be backing it and energizing what you want, desire, and need. And you will manifest quickly. I don't think anybody came here to manifest slow. I know I didn't. I didn't come here to manifest slow. So I remember along my journey asking Creator, okay, you got to show me, like, how do I create faster? How do I manifest faster? And they said, well, there's some key things. You want to manifest faster? You got to clean up your inner world. You got to clean up the stories, the belief systems. That's everything that we do in Thrive. Okay, we do all that work in Thrive. Subconscious clearing. We clean up the stories. Refine what you're speaking about. Refine the words that you're using. That's a big part of what we're doing in the Divine Manifestation Experience. The energy. You got to have the right energy. You got to have the most aligned energy. You got to be attuning. When you attune, your energy goes up, your frequency goes up. You go into a state of mastery. It's easier to manifest when your energy is high. It's easier to manifest when your energy is on point. It's also easier to manifest when your words are not sabotaging you all the time. This is what's happening for a lot of people. I'm going to give you a list of words in a second. These are the components that we're working on within the Divine Manifestation Experience, especially the energy and the words. And the third component is being able to know how you personally manifest. How do you create? What lights you up? What lights you up is different than what lights me up. Gabriel manifests completely different than I do. And that's okay. It's not for me to make him manifest like me or make me manifest like him. It's about us honoring how we each manifest And then elevate that. Can we create space and can we support that? Yes, that's what we do for our clients. So I want to give you a list of some refinement so you can start this process. If you're coming into the membership, I want to celebrate you. I want to honor you. If you choose to do the pay in full or the, not pay in full, the full year instead of doing monthly. So there's no contract, by the way, to the membership. Let me just give you the details for the membership and then I'll give you this list, okay? And then I got to get going because I got to get in the car. We're going to go down to Collingwood today. So inside the Divine Manifestation Experience, you can do monthly. It's only $88 a month. There's no contract. So if you can come in for this next month. If you love it, then you stay. If you don't love it, you're like, that was a great month and sayonara, right? If you're like, I love you guys, I love the work that you're doing, you could save yourself 20% and invest for the year. If you choose to invest for the year today, this is only today, okay? This is today's bonus that I'm just like springing off the top of my head. If you choose to come in today, Gabriel and I, one of us will do a 30-minute session with you, one-to-one. We care about you guys so much. We want you guys to have results so badly, like for real. I want you to get this because if we get this piece, the manifestation piece, then we can elevate up into co-creation mastery. When we hit co-creation mastery, this is where we start creating heaven on earth. Many people are still creating not heaven on earth. They're experiencing stuff that's not their heaven on earth. It's not their ideal. And it's just refinement. It's refining these pieces that I've been talking about today. So again, today, you have today, okay? If you choose to come in and you want to do the full experience with us for the year, then we will gift you a session with us. Now, most clients, if they book a one-on-one session with us, our sessions are starting at $555 for a half hour, okay? So, and that's because we've been doing this work for 23 years, right? We've been doing this work for a long, long time. The link is there. If you're tuning in on Instagram, Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, just type the word manifest. I'll come back, I'll get you the link. Let me quickly tell you, and then I'm going to give you the list. I want to quickly tell you what's inside this manifestation experience, okay? Every single month, there's a creation circle. That creation circle is available to our thrivers, our light leaders, and this meditation or this manifestation space because creation circles are so freaking powerful. I started doing creation circles live in Toronto back when I met Alexandra. So this would have been at least 18 years ago. I started doing creation circles. I called them healing circles, manifestation circles. We did channeling circles, and then we did creation circles. And I played with all these different types of circles. And then when Gabriel and I brought our work online, I said, I'd really like to bring back the creation circles in an online context because those circles are so powerful because we're creating a vortex of energy. You get to drop into that vortex field. You get to be in the energy of very high vibrational space, and you get to amplify. It's like walking into a vortex in Sedona or in Egypt or in Greece or different hotspots around the world. When you walk into those hotspots, whoo, you feel the energy. It's like everything that you think about goes up. This is why Sedona will either love you or not love you and will spit you out because energetically, you got to be sound, right? Like you want to be in a refined state to be able to amplify what you actually want, desire, and need. So that's once a month. Those are facilitated live. The second live thing that happens every month are called soul visioning recalibration. So this is where we're guiding you. It's a live session for about 30 minutes. We're guiding you into the highest vision from your higher self, from your soul. When you have clarity of vision, you see exactly what you're manifesting, what you want, what you need, what you desire, you're creating. It helps with your clarity. And then the third live piece that Alexandra, she's been with us, she's been on our team for over 5 years now. She's an incredible healer, a speaker, a leader, a teacher. She facilitated yoga classes way before when I first met her. That's how I met her, actually, was at a yoga studio. And so she's very well versed. She's done all of our trainings. She knows our work intimately. She's been a part of our team, like I said, for over 5 years. She's going to be leading these labs, these manifestation refinement reflection labs. We're going to drop in. She's going to do it, the first one here, in about 20 minutes. So if you're coming in, do that now so that you can drop in with her and she's going to help you refine what your manifestations are. Because again, a lot of times I hear this still to this day coming out of people's mouths. They'll say, this is what I want, or this is what I'm manifesting, or this is what I'm creating. And what I'll just say this. I'm being wise about the words that I'm using here. People will still use words or descriptors of what they're creating from what I would call a negative creation space, meaning it's not going to be the thing that they want, or they don't even realize it, but they're layering in the scarcity or the diagnosis or the lack or the not enoughness, that's threading in there somehow. There's certain words. And when you hear it enough times, when you work with enough clients, you can pick it out like that. And so we're going to help you refine so that what you're saying, what you're focused on in your words, your thoughts, your energy, your emotions is super, super clear and super refined so that it's consistent. So those are twice a month that Alexandra is hosting those inside the experience. And then inside the experience, we have this beautiful meditation library. We have our miracle mantras. So those are the words that affirm, that are powerful, that we've used over the years to really amplify what you're manifesting, which is super, super clear. And then there's something new that we created in there called the manifestation map. So it's a 30-day map and a journal that you go through a specific sequence to uncover your way to manifest, not my way. I've learned my way. I'm here to guide you. We're going to give you some things that work, and we're going to tell you what doesn't work so that you can refine. But this is more important to me, is that you learn and uncover your way to manifest, because if you start manifesting like me, it'll work for a little bit until it doesn't work. This is why the manifestation process, when you learn someone else's techniques, they work for a little bit, but then you got to make it your own. It was like that back in the massage day. We learned a sequence of Swedish massage, and then they said, go make it your own. When I learned Reiki, they said, we're going to teach you a sequence. Then I started teaching, and I would say to my clients and students all the time, I'm going to teach you a framework, and then you got to make it your own. You got to use your intuition. Same thing when I did my yoga teachers training. You're going to learn. When I studied at self-study when I was 14, you learn it, and then you make it your own. But if I keep following what everybody else is doing, I'm going to be trying to manifest like them. And this is the most frustrating thing to humanity, because we're comparing ourselves. We feel like we're in competition. We feel like we're doing something wrong. Then we think that we're less than, because we're like, how is it working for them, but it's not working for me? Any of you ever feel that? I used to go through that a lot. How's it working for them? I tried that. I did that. I followed that. There's something else going on in the energy. Our energy can sabotage anything. Our words can actually sabotage anything. So if you're curious, if you feel like you want to lean in a little bit more to this conversation, Alexandra posted the link on Facebook. If you're tuning into the other places, type the word manifest. We'll get the link for you guys. Come and join us. This is so fun. There's no contract. So come in for the month. If you want to come in for the full year, we're going to gift you a session with us, help move some energy, refine what you're creating. But it's really important for you to, one, know, are you strong in your thoughts, your words, your expression, your energy? Then we need to start making the adjustments and the refinement. And that's the work that we do inside that membership, is the refinement. Now, here's a list of words that I would omit completely. And if you all say, I can't do that because I hear it all the time, or it's just part of my conditioning, you got to start to choose. You either want what you want, or you're going to keep choosing your conditioning. It's up to you. It's totally up to you. You have full free will. Most people live in the mundane, the conditioning, and they'll just stay there. But then they're not living a thriving life. They're not living heaven on earth. They're not living exceptional. I know for myself and our clients, they want to live exceptional. We want to live exceptional. We want to create heaven on earth, bliss on earth, joy on earth, abundance on earth, whatever that means to you, whatever heaven on earth is to you. You get to create that for yourself. And there are some key things that are going to help you, and then there's going to be some things that work against you. Okay? Our words sometimes, our energy for sure can work against us, but our words, and then I'll wrap it up here, I'll give you the list, because this is going much longer than I anticipated. But it's a good plug-in and power up. I hope that you guys are enjoying this and that you're receiving some goodness from it. So the words that I would completely omit, and again, this is up to you guys. You have full free will and choice. HATE. I'm not going to say it because I don't use that word. That word has such a low frequency and low vibration. So low. Dr. Emoto's work, when they did experiments and they looked at that word and what it did to the water molecules, it looked like a bomb went off. Didn't form any water crystals. Okay. The other word that I would omit completely, Those of you in Thrive, you know this one. S-I-C-K. This is going to be a hard one for many of you because it's threaded in everywhere. You hear it everywhere. You hear it in TV. You hear it in movies. You hear it in radio. You hear it in everyday conversation. It is threaded in everywhere. S-I-C-K. I don't say it. I'm not saying it for a reason because I don't use that word. If I want to be healthy, I am definitely not going to energize thatness. It's threaded in everywhere. It's a program. That's conditioning to program you to be that. Totally up to you. If you want to be healthy, I would take that out of my vocabulary immediately. So if you want really great relationships, take H-A-T-E out. You want more love? Take that word out completely. Omit it from your vocabulary. That's a great refinement. My second favorite one to omit, if you want health, you want to be radiant, you want to be healthy in your body, you want to be youthful, take out S-I-C-K. That's going to be a challenging one. I know that it will because I still hear it even after I've said it like a cajillion times in the last 11 years. More than that, but online, 11 years. Omit that one. You'll see major changes in your health. Now, when it comes to money, there's some key trigger words. I would say my favorite one to omit if you want abundance and prosperity would be debt. You hear it all the time. It's programming. Clear your credit card debt. Clear this. And I'm going to cancel, delete it. I don't have a trigger with that word anymore because I've released a lot of stuff around that. But D-E-B-T. Omit that word from your vocabulary. You want abundance? Got to let go of that piece. You want to be energized in abundance? You got to let go of that piece. So those would be my 3 top words. Now, you guys, I got more words that you can omit, but you're going to learn that when you come inside the Ascension Meditation, not Ascension Meditation, Divine Manifestation membership. Okay? So Alexandra posted the link there. I'm going to be giving everybody inside that membership a list of other words to omit. We're going to have a lot of fun. Your vocabulary is going to change, but that's a good thing. You want to become sharp in your manifestations. You've got to be aware of the words that you're choosing and using. I have been saying this diligently for years, for more than 20 years now. And it works. This is how you start to instantaneously manifest. You want instant manifestation? You have to refine your vocabulary. This is a big piece that we're going to be doing inside this membership. Divine Manifestation Space Experience membership. That's what's going to be happening inside of there. So Alexandra posted the link. Where do you find the workshop? We're going to have everything in there for you, Diane. Diane's already a part of the experience, so everything's going to be in there. I'm going to be hosting a masterclass next week. If you want to come, you can pay and purchase to be in that, or if you're a part of the membership, you'll get it as a bonus. Okay? So we'll make sure that you have everything inside of there. The map's already in there. The journal's already in there. A lot of that stuff is in there. Go and attend if you want some refinement right now. For those of you that are clients of ours, Alexandra is going to be starting her live session in 10 minutes. So go inside the school app and you'll see at the top, it'll show a calendar. Actually, I can show you here on my phone. This is why I love the school app. So once you open up your school app, this is what you'll see when you first log in. And then across the top, if you hit, sorry, it's working on its phone apparently. If you click calendar at the top, you'll see today. And if you click on today, it'll show you Manifestation Reflection Lab. And if you click on this here, it's going to open up the Zoom link for you guys. Okay? If you can't make it live, for those of you that are already in, the replay will go up. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We're so grateful to have you all here. I hope this was a powerful conversation. I know this was a longer plug-in and power up, but I thought it was important because I saw some stuff posted yesterday and I was like, we have to be mindful as to the energy that we place around these things. And it also surprised me that a lot of people didn't know about Dr. Emoto's work or were surprised. But then again, I'm not surprised because Spirit has had me on this journey like 15 to 20 to 30 years, learning these things so that I can come in and be a teacher of them. So Thank you so much for tuning in. Join the membership. It's really a beautiful space. I can't wait to invite and welcome all the new people that are in there and invite you into that space. It's going to be so beautiful for you. Thank you so much. If you love this video, share it. If you know anybody who would love a manifestation membership to be a part of, again, no contracts, just share this video or share the link with them. And yeah, thank you so, so much. Thank you. You have a beautiful day too. Love you guys so, so much. We'll see you soon. Bye.